Hello, friends, and welcome back to the show. My name is Mark, and you are listening to Mark My Brain. And in this episode, I would like to tackle the topic of inspiration, which is a topic I have been thinking about quite a lot and also for quite some time now. So I would just like to share my thoughts about it. This episode will be less scripted, less maybe structured. I haven't done too much research beforehand. I just want to share some of my own thoughts. So definitely let me know how does that work for you and what do you think of that. So let's maybe start this episode with one of my favorite quotes from Seneca, and that is, "Happy is the man who can make others better, not merely when he is in their company, but even when he is in their thoughts." And when I read that quote, at first glance it may sound maybe a little egoistic, maybe a little self-centered, but that's not how I personally view it. For me, it has always been about inspiration. So I find it very fitting to start this episode with this quote. Now, when I speak about inspiration, inspiration can mean, of course, a lot of things. You know, you can inspire friends, your close ones, your coworkers, or even employees if you are their boss or their leader. And mm, that is all fair. Of course, there will be variables, but for me personally, uh, I will tackle the topic from the point of view of trying to inspire my friends and my close ones to be better, because I know they can be better. I want to see them shine. So how can one become an inspirational person in that kind of sense? I can tell you from the get-go, from the start, that uh, having this feeling, seeing that you have inspired someone, is probably one of the most rewarding things I have experienced, like, period. It is super powerful. Uh, Whether it means, supporting my friends in their fitness journey, for example, and seeing them, find their passion for it as well and enjoying it, and, being grateful for the gains they made, for example. If I can be that little spark in the beginning that, inspire them or encourage them to try it out, it's just it's uh, super rewarding feeling for me. Or it can be just encouraging them to chase their dreams. Maybe they are scared to do something, they want your advice, or they want to try a new thing, and you just encourage them, you support them as their friend, and through that you can inspire them to discover and explore more about themselves. So I think that inspiration can come either through action, like direct action, or even through presence. Maybe that is also something that the quote I cited in the beginning hints at. As I think about it, I can see how you can inspire someone with your words. You cheer them on, hype them up. Maybe in the scenario when your friend is scared to do something, I don't know, scared to try a new hobby, scared to talk to a girl, maybe, or, your words can mean a lot and you can get them inspired through that. But on the other hand, you can also inspire if you hone your own qualities and values and competencies, your skills. And sometimes just seeing that in someone else can inspire you just as much, maybe even more. Um, but of course, how do you hone those qualities or values you want to inspire in others? Again, it's through action. So maybe all of it just boils down to acting with belief and I don't know, consciously, proactively in the direction you want to go in and in the direction you want to inspire in the others. Yes, yes, I think that's true. I think it's about being very conscious and proactive in what you do and how you do it, and then what you do and how you behave directly reflects on those around you. I'm already remembering some of those sayings like be what you want to see more of in the world. I think it just, it ties into this topic as well. And I think that's also why it is important to choose your circle or the environment you are in carefully, because it can of course go in both directions. In a good scenario or in a better scenario, it can create I would say sort of a positive cycle, like you are supporting goals of your friends and they are encouraging your ambitions in turn, and it sort of goes from one side to the other and you are just rising together, which is in my opinion beautiful imagery. So yes, but of course it can go the other way around as well. If your circle or the people you hang around with are, if they are bums or they just, I don't know, are alcoholics, drink alcohol all day, do nothing, have no ambitions, it's very likely that you will find it hard to get inspired, motivated to chase your own dreams, and is, I think, much more likely that you will end up in a similar place as them. I think I've heard somewhere that you are average of your closest 5 people or something like that, and I think that's absolutely true. So maybe that's something one should keep in mind also, that you can be as inspiring as you want to be, but if the environment and the people around you are the opposite, maybe it's time to change the scenery, One question I also wanted to think about is where to look for inspiration if you can't find it in the people around you. As I said, maybe it's, if you realize this, maybe it's a hint that you should change your environment. But I also think that creating your own inspiration is definitely a real thing. I think it's much more internal than it may seem. Of course, you can find inspiration in stories, news, podcasts, and today online, wherever you look. But that's all external inspiration. You see someone successful and you get inspired to try harder in work and be successful as well, or you see someone creating some art, and that works as a spark of maybe I should try some painting as well or some drawing, and that can definitely work, of course. But my feeling is that if you just internally focus on your own vision and your own goals, if you focus on your passion and ambitions, the desire to make them into reality will come forth on its own, if you get what I mean. So, in that sense, I think that inspiration and getting inspired is just about, it's a mind game at the end of the day, I think. In a sense, you create your own reality. So if you want to have that passion, that burning fuel inside of you, and you feel like you need inspiration for that, you can just go search for it, either in the external world or just in yourself. And if you search hard enough, I think you will definitely find it. But that leads me to a thought that maybe even having, as I said before, not the best or not the most inspiring people around you can also work for you in a sense. It can serve as sort of a inverse inspiration maybe. If you have around you a lot of people with negative traits, you can still use this environment in a sense that you look at them and say to yourself, this is how I don't want to be. And you see how they are leading their lives and in what direction they are going. And if you realize this is someone I don't want to be, you just turn around and walk in the other direction, do the opposite things. And I think that can also be very helpful. Of course, as I said in the beginning, inspiration works in a lot of areas differently. For example, I can imagine if as a boss you want to inspire your employees and your coworkers, maybe you can do it through, as I mentioned, honing your own qualities, showing how hard you are working, how disciplined you are, how good your time management is, and through that you can inspire the others around you. But if you are looking, for example, for inspiration in your arts journey, I don't know, inspiration in a sense of the muse for your painting or music or drawings, that's of course a different thing. And there, I think the contact with the external world is maybe more important because, as I understand it, I think the art is just a reflection of the world around us. Of course, emotions and feelings as well. But to find that inspiration, you can just look around you, go out, go into the city, look around at the people, what they are feeling, what they are doing, and you can easily find inspiration like that. But again, what I said about the internal inspiration or inspiring yourself also works in the art as well. Because art, for me at least, is something that should reflect or express some emotion, some feeling, maybe some story. Uh, Again, you don't need to look further than yourself, and I think you will find it. It ties in, of course, into the idea that the famous artists, maybe famous writers, wrote about their own misery, for example, or about love and stuff like that, powerful feelings. So yes, I think you can find inspiration in yourself as well as outside. But I'm repeating myself. Excuse me for that. Mm, so maybe it's time to tie this topic down. I would say that, summarizing everything I've said, if you want to inspire others, I would start with yourself, making conscious and proactive choices, which then reflect on your surroundings. I think that's a fairly fair concept. And as I said, it's true not only for stuff like hard work and discipline or art, as I mentioned, but I think it's also true for things like passion or optimism. Maybe you're passionate for sports, and you convince your friends to go and try out your favorite sport, and at the beginning they are not really feeling it, but they're super passionate about it. You show them everything, you're optimistic, and you want to share this passion inside of yourself. And I think that that feeling, that passion, that optimism, they are contagious as well. So I think this principle works in most areas of life. And if this episode is another reminder for us to be more conscious and choose our decisions or make our decisions more proactively in the direction we want to move in, then If that is the only thing you will take away from this, I am satisfied, because I think you can never repeat this enough. And I would maybe end this episode on that: if you are looking for inspiration in your own life, again, look no further than yourself. If you search hard enough, you will find inside yourself a fire that burns with eternal passion, and you can find all the inspiration to reach your goals and ambitions there. Yes. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you thought about this little shorter and maybe more personal episode. I would love to hear your feedback. And as always, see you around. Bye bye.